Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here with the fabulous and amazing Dr. Laura Lewis, which I have known now for, it's got to be over 15 years. I know it's over 15 years. I can't, like, at this point, it's getting a little fuzzy. So I remember where we met, not just when. I remember we met at that TV station so long ago. And so then we were in the same business consultation group for a while. And then Laura just moved on and took off. Like, just such a fabulous career. And I've been able to watch it, here and there on social media. So when I started talking about entrepreneurial couples, which I call maritalpreneurs. So this is a MaritalPreneurs podcast. And I was thinking, like, who in my circle who I know has been in a relationship and been an entrepreneur. And what I wanted was real people doing the work, not, I don't know how to explain it. I wanted a realness to it, like an authenticity people, like people I know that I've been seeing hustling for years, that's out here making it happen. And I've seen them in their relationships. I didn't want fluff. I wanted to give people real advice, real answers, the real story, so that you as an entrepreneur don't feel alone when you're struggling with your relationship, so that you have hope, so you know that, like, it can be done. And so y'all know I say this all the time, because when I figured out the statistics, I was horrified. But entrepreneurs have a 75% divorce rate. And I get it.
I know that.
I do get it. The regular population has about a 50% divorce rate, because marriage can be very hard. And I will always say this, I don't think people prepare enough for marriage before they get married. I just had a new couple, I think last week, and I'm like, okay, so what type of books have you guys read about marriage? What type of, courses or classes or premarital counseling did you do? None.
Just got in this thing and try to way through it.
Right. Okay. Well, let's get y'all some just basic information about like relationships and understanding and listening to each other and speaking to each other. And it's so funny, I feel, and Laura, I'm sure you feel this way too, because you have a whole PhD doctorate, psychology, PsyD. But it's like, I went to school for this. I went to school to tell you to appreciate your partner and say it out loud. That's what I went to school for.
But it makes a difference. That appreciation, oh my God, that makes a difference. You were saving marriages over there.
But I'm like, y'all you ain't learned this in, like, your parents didn't teach you? Okay.
Don't even get started with family, because growing up, in our community, it's not a lot of marriage models to begin with.
That is very true. So, okay. All right. So, tell us about yourself, and then a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, and then we'll dive into some questions.
Okay, well, just a little bit about me. I have been in this field for over 20 years. Oh my God, it feels so old to even say that. Over 20 years. I started in this field when I was 19 years old, and I was working at the Center for Marriage Therapy on campus.
Wow.
And so, that was my first view of, okay, this is the dream. Like, this is what I always wanted to do. And so I did that, and then I've been just working in my practice and laying a couple therapy. I have a group practice where we really like to work with Black couples. Like, we like to create a space where Black couples don't have to code switch. They can just be who they are and say how they want to say it, real stuff. And so I've been doing that for a while, and then I love to travel. Travel is my thing, that.
I think we're gonna do a travel book. I think.
Yes. Oh my God, that's a whole story right there. So we traveled for 6 months. We traveled to 14 countries. That was life-changing. My spouse at the time, so I was with my first husband for 20 years, and then now I have remarried, and we've been together for 3 years so far, almost 1 year married. So the entrepreneurship and marriage, I'm excited that you have this space for this podcast, because it is so important, having conversations about how to navigate being a businesswoman or like being an entrepreneur and being married at the same time is not easy. And so I'm so glad that you created this space. So let's get into it. Yeah. Oh, you asked me what did I answer the question? Tell about myself and then my entrepreneur journey. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
So, because I know you were doing testing for a while, and then you were solo practice, then you were running the group practice. Then I think you went solo for a while again, and then back to
I can talk
group.
about. Okay. So, with my entrepreneur journey, I remember when I started my business, my dad was like, Black people don't go to therapy. You need to get you a good government job. And so sometimes when you're starting a business, sometimes you may find that people around you, it's not necessarily that they don't believe in you, but it may be that they're trying to protect you or they're concerned about you. And so because of that, they don't want you broke and penniless. They're like, get you a good government job. But now we know the government is not the most sustainable place to work. But anyway, so that's what my dad told me. And I was like, no, I need to push through and still figure this out. So I really invested in like my education around entrepreneurship because I have a PhD in psychology, but that ain't necessarily mean I know how to manage books. I know how to do a profit and loss statement. I had to learn that stuff. Mostly by trial and error and figuring it out. And owing back taxes. That helped me get it together real quick, honey.
That part. That part. At one point, I was 6 years behind in my taxes, and I was just terrified because I came out of corporate America where not only were my taxes filed on time, I got my refund. And so that first year being an entrepreneur and being like, "What you mean I owe y'all $3,000? What? Wait, what? I don't know that life."
Keep me down in grad school. What you talking about?
And I've seen couples struggle with that, with taxes. Like how you got us owing $10,000 in taxes? Like, and it's just like, what happened? I ain't realized, and I've had it go both ways where I ain't realized I made that money, that much money. Like I made what?
Like where that money went?
So I owe how much in taxes? And where I ain't making any money. Yeah, I ain't got nothing for y'all. And so just explaining all of that to a partner. And I've seen couples in my office struggle with just a tax bill alone. Why you wouldn't say, why you got us in this financial mess? Why are we looking at possible going into debt to get the IRS paid? Like, and who does that? Like, why are we living that life? So that alone will affect couples. Okay, so back to your entrepreneurial journey. So you had to learn a lot.
Yes, it was a lot of trial by fire. But I invested a lot too. I invested in a mastermind. It was about $15,000. And that was a conversation with my husband. Like, you learning what? For what? But you really do have to learn what you don't know, or you will literally make some costly mistakes like the ones I mentioned. So that really was a game changer for me. And then my work has been featured in NBC, ABC, Wall Street Journal, Reader's Digest. So I've done a bit of media. I published a book, Marital Peace. That's my book. It can't really show up on
the you took the blog, the blur was on, so we couldn't see it at all. So
okay, let me see.
And there we go. Now we can see it. So Marital Peace. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
all right, y'all make sure y'all support my girl and buy that book. Okay.
Thank y'all. It's on Amazon. But it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this book. Oh my God. So basically, when I was writing my dissertation at Howard University, we could write about anything that we wanted to write about. I was like, I want to write about marriage because I see divorce running rampant all throughout my family, all throughout the people that I know. So let me study this thing. And so I did a longitudinal study. I did some qualitative research, and I found that there were certain things that couples, particularly Black couples, struggle with the most, and then also some protective factors that we have. So I put all of that into the book Marital Peace in a simplistic way because the dissertation I couldn't just
right.
That. Yeah. So yeah, that was a part of the entrepreneurship journey. And I think for a while, for me, I felt like I felt like I wasn't good at what I was doing. Like when I wrote the book was inside me, first of all, for about 10 years before like I actually published it because
Yeah.
I never felt like I was a good writer. Like, how does this grammar work? Like even though I had a doctorate, my writing skills was not the best. So I had to just really get my confidence up to even, publish the book. And then now what I do today is I have a group practice and I'm still kind of learning that leadership thing. Cause again, like where's the management class in grad school? So as a result, I lost some people. I had to fire some people. Sometimes it didn't work out for lots of different reasons. And so I guess entrepreneurship has been a constant process of learning,
And
pivoting.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now my business has made like, I remember when my business hit the $1 million mark and I was like, wait, what? Like it was shocking to me because I never really felt like I was doing it right. Like it was
Right.
always a time I was like, is this how I'm supposed to do a profit and loss statement? Is this how I'm supposed to interview and hire people?
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, like I'm still in that journey. I'm still, even though I've been in business, I went in business in 2012. So I've been in business for a while, but
Yeah.
the truth is business changes. Like
It
we talked about
changes.
COVID, that thing, it was a major
Right.
shift
Right.
in
And I've
in
seen
the
you
way we
change
do
in
work.
business. And so yeah, I remember in consultation group and you were like, okay, my business made this and I only made this. Okay, something ain't right here. You
What's the marketing?
know? Well, and so, and then doing the testing and then doing the traveling and then like trying to figure it out. And so I think that's a big thing on couples is you don't necessarily, when you start a business, know where your business is going to end up. And so, like, I've seen so many people, their businesses go through like just kind of different iterations and they kind of wind up with the different like service or product than what they started out to be. Because most of us start out with, this is my big idea and I'm going to take it to the world. And the world is like, no, we don't want that.
We don't want it.
What else you
Your
got?
baby ugly.
Right. What else you got? And so then we have to kind of learn and pivot. And I was listening to, I think the president of Coca-Cola at one point in some type of networking event. And they were talking about working with new incubator businesses. And they were like the ones who succeed are the ones who change and pivot according to the market. But
That's
explaining
it right
that
there.
to your partner who was like, I thought we was going to do this. Why are you doing something else? Well, I'm doing something else because of blah, blah, blah. Okay, can you stay consistent? It's hard in business to stay consistent, especially when you're building. Like you need to be able to change on a dime and figure it out and change your hours and change your pricing and change everything as you figure it out. And so that can be really hard for a marital partner to understand who's not in the business with you. So,
For
okay.
real.
Oh,
Yeah, that is
hard.
challenging. Yeah, because I remember feeling like that. Like I started to do this. And when I started, I was like, I'm available all the hours. You want me to come on Sunday, Saturday? And then it came a point where I was like, okay, this is not sustainable. So to your point, like you're right. Like sometimes you have to change your hours. Sometimes you have to like change the service that you're providing. But you definitely want to change with the marketing. That is not always easy for the spouse or the business owner to understand.
Right. Right. Because I thought I was doing this. I thought we was doing this and we're doing something different. Okay. So as we talk about it, I'm realizing how ambitious you are to keep going like 20 plus years and pursuing, and then you've been in business since 2012. Okay. So how do you kind of set and pursue your business goals in a way that doesn't impact your relationship, your marriage, or does it? Like, how do you keep it from negatively impacting going through the different iterations and changes? Like, what is there something specific you do or something you found in the research?
What has worked well for me is communication. Like,
Mm,
babe, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm seeing. What do you think about this? Like, how do you feel
mhm.
about this? And how is this going to impact our life? Like
Yeah.
having conversations. And I know like sometimes communication is tough because it may be like the other person may be tired of all these pivots. Like they was on the last 17 pivots and all of them didn't work out well. So they like, wait,
Right.
what? So that's an element of communication, is being willing to have the tough
Yeah.
conversations, even when you haven't had a good track record with managing pivots or communication.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna actually ask you to put on your couples therapist hat and
Okay.
and tell me, when couples are in your office, what do they struggle with communication the most? Like, where's the communication breakdown? Like, so what do you see?
Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. I would say one communication challenge is um a person getting defensive. Like, okay,
Mm,
when you are that mirror and you are saying like, okay, this is what I'm seeing, this is what has been coming up over the last 5 years. Sometimes defensiveness can come up.
yeah,
Like, well, yeah,
yeah,
but and it ain't happen like that. And so I would say one element is being willing to listen.
yes,
Another thing is sometimes we shut down. Like sometimes we both people can shut down. Like the entrepreneur can shut down because they're like, well, I ain't gonna bring you my idea because the last time I talked to you,
right.
you crushed my confidence. So I'm just gonna take my toys and go back to the office, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes the communication breakdown is around what are your office hours? Because boo, you working in the morning, you working on our date, like you working all
Right.
the hours.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
some time for us. So I think communication about how to protect the partnership,
Mhm.
communication about like why are changes happening,
Yeah.
communication about your ideas and how you can feel supported, but also manage the risk, because you can't risk the whole farm and now we homeless because you got this idea. Like that don't make
That
sense
part.
either.
That part. And that's so good. Okay, you said so many good things. All right, the thing I think I want to pull out the most, so that we can continue to ask questions and not stay there all day, is you said, how are we going to protect the partnership? And I, honest to God, don't think couples ever think about protecting the partnership. And so I'll joke with my couple sometimes, but and I'm really telling the truth. There's I'm not a like the devil made me do it. The devil da da da. I'm not, but I promise for God, there has been some situations with some couples, and I'm like, I think the devil is after y'all. Like
That's
then this
real.
happened, then this happened. Like I mean, I think and so I would love for couples to like purpose to protect the partnership. Like I'd love for that to be a standard conversation. And I'd love for that to be like in premarital counseling, what like one-on-one. How are y'all gonna protect this partnership? Because when y'all get married, the devil may come for you. like, and
That's
especially
real.
girl, I've just seen some crazy things like, "Ooh, this is how that happened and that happened and that happened." And so there really has to be an attitude of we're gonna protect this thing. Like this thing
Mhm.
has to be protected, specifically for my African American couples, specifically for them. There needs to be this whole we gotta protect. We have to protect. So okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I love that you said that because spiritual warfare is real. And
Mhm.
sometimes it looks like, oh, this entrepreneur is experiencing a measure of success and now they appear more attractive to other people. People that maybe weren't checking for them then. It's now
Right.
like, well, let me slide in this DM. You looking real, like whatever. And so
Mhm.
it could be on that end,
Mhm.
or it could be on the other end of just experiencing like struggles, and that could be part of the spiritual attack. So I strongly believe in praying over your marriage,
Yeah.
meditating on scriptures. I told my client the other day, I was like, let's write down some scriptures around
Right.
faith and fear and let's
Mhm.
put them on the
Mhm.
refrigerator. So every time you see that thing, like you're reminded of what you're meditating on in
Yeah.
your faith, because it's real out here. Like I
Mhm.
don't believe that the enemy wants to see happily married couples that are
Right.
tearing his kingdom down and that
Right.
are like doing things
Yeah.
to grow the kingdom of God. Because
Yeah.
when married couples get together and married couples
Oh,
get
that.
on the same accord, and then they
Mhm.
start like experiencing like a measure of success, then they're able to do more for their community. They're able to do more
Right?
for their family. They're able to show up in
Yes.
more of a powerful way at church. And so the enemy don't want to see that. He like, let me keep them broke, or let me keep them
Yeah.
distracted,
Yeah.
or let me keep them like where
Yes.
other people are
Yes.
trying to get in their marriage. And so that kind of keeps the couple like at odds with each other, when really we got to be
Yes.
clear about what we really fighting, which is the
Right.
enemy.
Right? Oh my gosh. Okay, I could take that so many ways, but I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna pivot a little bit because the way I've seen this impact in business is, well, why are you liking that on social media? Or well, because I'm trying to build and I might need to do a contract with this person one day. So I'm trying to da da da.
Build a
Or,
relationship.
why was you out to lunch with that man? Because I might need to get a contract with this person. Like, and so yes, I was kiki ha ha. Because even though that joke didn't make sense to me, I might need to get this contract set.
That
And so
part.
I've seen all of that and just can go really crazy. And the person's like, look, I am literally just trying to build this career, build this business, get this contract. And so I've seen that. And so I want couples to really talk about those things and make agreements so that you can protect the marriage. So what happens out in the street or what we're doing with the business doesn't have a negative impact, or how can we do it in a way that doesn't have a negative impact on the relationship? So, okay. That's so good. Okay. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to move on to the next question. All right. So for you particularly, in your relationship, how do you stay emotionally connected while running a business? And yeah, what do you think, like, you've learned, seen, like, what do you actually implement?
So it hasn't always worked out seamlessly, but one of the things that my husband and I do is like we wake up in the morning and we'll I don't know if this is too explicit, but we'll take a bath together and we'll like put on like a sermon in the morning, and so we're getting dressed, but we also like watching one of our favorite pastors, E.T. Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, and so we're listening and we are discussing like, okay, how does this make sense to us in a real way in our day-to-day life?
Wow.
So that ritual really helps us to just have a moment that we know is dedicated in a world of busyness, that okay, we know we're gonna connect then. And then at
Yeah.
night we'll have some time. And one of the things that we're trying to do that we haven't implemented consistently yet is Bible study. Like I want us to like have some time like at the end of the day for Bible study. Sometimes we get too tired, but that's
Right.
one of the things that we've been working on. Yeah.
Okay, that's so exciting. And the research supports that daily ritual, that daily connection point. And I love that it's at the beginning of you guys' day. Oh, I can see that. I can see how much that would nourish you and prepare you for the day. Okay. All right. So, what's been the biggest communication breakdown in the business or in the marriage? And how did you resolve it? What do you think?
Um, I'm the breadwinner in my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And so that sometimes can cause communication
Mm-hmm.
breakdowns. And I knew this going into our marriage that like I, I'm a doctor, and my husband he's a chef, and so just it wasn't gonna be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't gonna be 50-50. It wasn't gonna be
Mhm.
like I knew that going into it. But sometimes the reality of it is challenging, because it may be that like I set my life up in a way that I can go away for 6 months. And the reality is he set his life up to go away 6 months, like at all. And so we have to navigate those
Right.
conversations, and it is not always easy. Sometimes it's compromise. Sometimes it's well, I thought that I was gonna be doing this, but we need to adjust, and we're not doing this year, or.
Right.
So sometimes
Right.
that causes communication breakdowns.
We're gonna have to do a whole episode on that one day. We are.
Okay.
I'm like, as I'm hearing it, like, go ahead and put me on the books for about 2 months.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to come back and have a whole conversation. We're gonna need to do it in a live because this ain't even
Okay.
MaritalPreneur's work. This is just because I have so many. Out of my friends, all of them make more than their partners. Some of them, it's about $20,000 difference, $30,000 difference, $50,000 difference. But some of them, $500,000 difference. Like we live in a completely different lifestyle. How you trying to go to McDonald's? I'm trying to go to Margiano's. Like
you better talk about that thing. That's real world. What that looks like.
Right.
I don't want to do this. You don't even feel like that is a value. Like sometimes the other person, I may say, okay, we need to hire a housekeeper because we can't keep up with all this. And they're like, housekeeper, what? And you gonna pay the what?
Why would you do that? My mama ain't never need to hire a housekeeper. Oh, okay, but was your mama making $500 an hour? Because at this point, I'm costing myself money by sweeping the floor. I can get somebody in here to sweep this floor for $20 an hour. I'm costing myself money and understanding that. And I remember I've had a couple of clients who had that conversation of, but he doesn't understand that this has to work like this, or I need to do this, I need to do this instead of do that. And you mad at me? Really, you mad at me for not sweeping the floor? Okay, we ain't. That's not. This is real
talk. Like this is real talk. What entrepreneurship couples are dealing with every day. I had this idea. You ain't even feel like that was a possibility. How do we navigate these two different worldviews?
Yes, definitely. So, okay, we're gonna have to have that because a lot of couples are struggling for that because I see it, and I see it. I see a lot, but I see that, and so that one has to be a whole conversation. Matter of fact, I was just looking at a social media last night, and a lady was talking about don't say you're an alpha female anymore. I know why you're saying that, but I am. So
I am though. I am her. She is me.
I am. So I don't know what I like. Yeah.
It's real. So this whole a lot of feminine soft life is a big part of what's culturally what we're seeing a lot of. But for many of us to be able to experience a measure of success, it requires us to tap into that part of ourselves.
It does.
I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna make it happen. By any means necessary, I will figure this out. And that ain't soft life, kick your feet up type of life. That's no.
Right. And it and the timing of it, so I was, when I first was getting my practice up off the ground, I was at the office until 10, 11, 12. It was, no space for relationship at that point. You're not. And so I can see where partners are wanting their partners to be available and come home and have dinner with me. And the person who's probably more invested into the business or has the idea is I can't. I got to get this one thing done. I can feel it. I'm on the precipice. Something's about to break, and I can't let up the gas now. But you want me home, and then feeling that because I do want to be home with you, and just kind of navigating all of that is so hard for couples. So, okay.
Part of it is a conversation because sometimes that is a seasonal experience. I would say there are certain seasons in running a couples therapy practice that it's going to be more busy. And then other seasons where that week between Christmas and New Year's, it's busy. So you got all my time, baby. Whatever you want to do, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Or the summertime. A lot of times in the summertime, it's not as busy. And so that's why I say communication is so important because a person can feel like a season is their life. You're going to be working 11 o'clock every day for the rest of our life. No, babe, just for right now, for this period. Then I'll be home.
And so I think, it's this TV show and it's the West Wing from back in the day. And there's an episode at the beginning of the series where the wife of Leo, he's the chief staffer or something like that. He's right under the president. And his wife is at home waiting on the anniversary night. And so he finally makes it in like 2:00. And he was like, a vote needed to be passed. And, she was there waiting with the candlelight and everything. And so when they're having a conversation and she's like, but it wasn't more important than your marriage. He was like, it was more important than the marriage right now. And then of course she's devastated and they wind up getting a divorce. I do see that a lot though. Like, I'm so sorry, but this was more important than the relationship. And I think that's the reality of entrepreneurship sometimes, is that because if I don't do this, then these bills don't get paid. And then you ain't gonna love me too tough if we homeless,
Right. I
And
like to live indoors with electricity.
I promise you I can make love to you better in a king size bed in an air conditioned place.
And in the back seat.
Right? Because we only got
be good for all of us,
I promise you. And I would love for more entrepreneur couples to have that realistic conversation. Is it ever going to be a point where the businesses are more important than the marriage? And if so, what does that look like? How do we repair from that? How to recuperate from that? How do we get over that? Like, what's a plan in place for that? So, okay. What are the things that you implement, and you can either say this personally or with your couples, to help them repair?
So one part of repair is acknowledgement, because you're going to hear your spouse like saying that thing louder and more often until you acknowledge like this is a thing. Like what they're complaining about is real. And so I think that there has to be some space of acknowledging and validating.
Yeah.
And then change, like acknowledgement and change will silence criticism, right? So I think the ability, like for me personally, to say, no, babe, you're right. Like that is something that I need to look at. You got a good point. Like I have been working more and we ain't had sex this week. So yeah, let me figure that out. And sometimes we gotta schedule it, just being real. And so I think that part of navigating conflict and repair is acknowledgement, change, validation, empathy, being able to say, let me put myself in my spouse's shoes. Like you said, like with the West Wing, like, okay, this country needs some decisions made. And yes, you are important. And so like being able to acknowledge that both are hard. And so I think that's where empathy comes in at, which is not always easy.
It's not.
Like for either one of us, like not for me, sometimes not for my spouse. Like we have to work on this. Like, and I think that's the thing that I want all of your entrepreneur couples to know, is that communication is a skill set. It's not like either I got it and I was born with it, or I don't have it and I'll never have it, but I need to work on developing in this area. And I'm committed to developing in this area.
Oh, I love that. Just be committed to developing. And this is what I've seen. This is one of, I think, the little surprising things that I've seen about couples therapy, couples in general, that you don't have to necessarily, this is sad but true. Well, I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's sad. I think it's a good thing. It's true. But I've seen where couples don't necessarily, like the partner doesn't necessarily have to improve in an area, long as they're trying to improve. So I've been shocked by that. Like, just with anything. Well, they hadn't changed their hours, but they called me and said that they know that they're not holding their agreement. And I really I see them trying to do what I would need them to do. Like and that seeing them try has been everything to so many couples. And so if you were out there and your partner is complaining about something, Laura just said, acknowledge it and then communicate about it. And then just try to put something better in place. Just try and communicate that. Communicate that. Like, hey, I tried this today. That absolutely did not work at all. I wound up actually getting home later, but like I tried this. And so then I'm going to implement this and figuring it out and knowing that it's a work in progress. Knowing that it's a work in progress
I think that that's such a good point that you made. It's the effort. It's the
So much.
intention for me. Like I work with politicians, pastors, actors, singers,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes they literally cannot change their
Right.
job. Like
Yes.
as a
Yes.
musician, you have to travel. And so when I'm working with a couple like that, and like, babe, I just want you to be home. Like, why you gotta travel all the time? But that's so this
Right.
is their job. Like as a musician, you gotta
Yeah.
travel to go make the money. And
Right.
so what we do is, to your point, it is a acknowledgement that this is challenging and I'm going to try to
Right.
map out some time for
Yes.
us. And that softened her. Like that made her feel like, okay, at least
Okay.
he can. I know he got to
Yeah.
travel as a musician, but at least he's willing to like carve out like this vacation in the
Yeah.
summer, like between his concerts.
That's
Like,
it.
and so
Right.
that makes a difference.
It really does. It really does. Oh, such a big difference. Okay. All right. What's one piece of advice you would give to a new entrepreneurial couple? They're trying to build a business and a marriage at the same time. What advice would you give them?
One, um, get
Okay.
in
You
therapy
can
with
do
Natalie. Like, for real, invest in therapy. We spend
yeah.
so much money on these weddings. Sometimes people
Mhm.
will spend $50,000 on a wedding. What you invest in
Right.
your marriage? Nothing. Like,
Right. You didn't even get the $10 book. You didn't, not one. You spent $200 on your Amazon order. You can throw a book in the cart? Okay.
you better talk about that thing, Natalie. Like, this is real. Like, I see it every day that people are spending sometimes $100,000 on one day and
Yeah.
haven't invested anything into the marriage. And so we have to strengthen and fortify the marriage to make sure that it has what it needs to
Mm-hmm.
grow. And it can,
Mm-hmm.
like, I have an academy. It's called an After I Do Academy. And it's like
Oh,
$25 a
you
month.
had that. Oh,
Yeah, it's like people don't have to always spend a lot of money to get the support that they need. Maybe it's like them booking a session. Maybe it's them being a part of a community where they're loved on and they're supported and they're around other couples that are saying, like, I went through this challenge. Let me show you how I went through it and you can get through it too. And
mm-hmm.
so sometimes you just need support, guidance, or even a
Mm-hmm.
book. If you like, I'm not able to do therapy right now. I'm not able to do this thing right now,
Yeah.
at least invest in some kind of resource that's going to help you grow and earmark some
Yeah.
time. It don't have to be 40 hours. It could be just 5 hours a week. At the end of the day, we're going to spend 20 minutes together. At the end of the week, we're going to go out on one day. It don't have to be
Right.
all the hours and it don't
Exactly.
have to be all the money, but it could be some measure of time that you are committed to investing in your marriage. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
That's bringing to mind. I think it is. I think this is a Gottman saying that intimacy is built in small bites over time, like just
Mhm.
small bites, and so
You
you
know
don't
that's my
have.
boo right there, Dr. John Gottman. He the pioneer of this thing. So yes, as soon as you
I,
said his name,
I,
I was like, yeah, he's done some amazing work in our field.
he really has done some amazing work, and just the practicalness of just something like that. Intimacy is built in small bites over time. Like you don't have to go out here and rearrange your whole entire life. If you show some effort and do small things, like small, like we say in business, small steps work, small steps to get you there. And same thing in a marriage, in a marital relationship. So okay. Um, let's see. What else do you want to just share with couples that are struggling with balancing business and marriage and all together? You know what? This is what I want to know from you. I want to know for you. How did you pick yourself up after the first divorce and get in a position where you were ready to get married again? That's what I want to know because I know so many people
Good.
are
You
going
sure you
through
want to know
divorce.
that? Okay, first of all, when I got
Because I
divorced,
feel like it's an important topic because so many people do get divorced
yeah.
and they go through if they're lucky, a small bitter period of I'm never getting married again and da 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 da. And some people come out of that and they do get married again, but some people don't. And so how
Okay.
did you come out? How did you, you know, build yourself back up to be ready to go into another marital relationship?
I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all because y'all Natalie community and Natalie is my people. I love her. But I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. Going through my divorce dang near took me out because I thought that was forever. Like 20 years. Like I thought
20
we was gonna be
years.
together for the rest of our life. Like our lives was so intertwined. Like he designed
Mhm.
my websites, he ran on my like our lives was intertwined on so many levels. And so when we got a divorce, I went through periods where I didn't want to live anymore. I wasn't gonna kill myself because I was like, God,
Right.
I don't want to go to hell. But I was like, God, if you just take me out, like just walk me
Yeah.
like you did Enoch. Enoch just walked right into heaven. Why don't you do that with me? Like I was
Right.
in such a low place. I
Yeah.
remember my friends did an intervention with me and they was like, all right, you come in here for a week and this is what we doing. Like it was like all hands on deck. So I got into therapy. Shout out to therapy. Sometimes you have to see a couple people to find that one great match
True.
because
Mhm.
therapists are not always the best clients because I'm analyzing the therapist. I'm like, well, what? So anyway, but yeah, I did therapy. Connected with my support system. And somehow, some way, but for the grace of God, like I came out of that dark place. And when I came out, I started to date again. But mind you, I hadn't dated for a very long time. So all this internet dating, online dating, I didn't know what that world looked like. So dealt with a lot of foolishness in terms of like, I remember one person, they were in jail. And I'm like, how did you even get on this online dating platform? They got that in jail. But anyway, so
Girl, they got the
it
internet
was
in jail.
it was some screening and some learning. Like, what do I even want? What do I even need? Because sometimes you can lose sight of that. You can lose sight of who you are in a divorce. You can lose sight of like what works for you. Like, what do I even like? And so I went through that period. And I met my husband. And when I met him, I had my wall up a little bit, like, I don't know, is you? Is you really you? Like, is you really who you say you are? So I had that period of just like, I don't know, let me see. So I feel like we took probably about a year of friendship to figure out like, and me get over like whatever stuff,
Yeah.
remnants of things that I thought I had dealt with, but I
Right.
hadn't. So yeah, that was the process.
Okay.
Not a rosy colored fantasy, but what it was.
And shout out, thank you to your friends for doing the intervention, for getting you back on the road and creating or being a part of who you are today. So shout out to those wonderful friends. And thank you for sharing the story because,
Thank you for asking.
yeah, I never want people to think we therapists got it all together. I don't, for whatever reason, I don't want y'all thinking we perfect. I want y'all to know that we are in our bed crying, that we are sometimes on the bathroom floor crying, that
Always.
when we are, when we are, uh, I had a client one time, and I promise you, I feel like I was only about 3 months ahead of what she was going through. Like it was
Like our life look real similar.
like,
I understand what you are expressing. I really do. More than you know.
like, you got, God dog it. Sorry you had to go through that too. And so,
I get it.
it's and so we understand that the struggle is real. Like we understand the struggle is real, and we also know that the hope is real and the joy is real and all of that. And we want you guys to have that. So thank you so much, Laura. All right, where are the people contacting you at? Let's make sure they got your information.
Sure. So I actually have a free webinar, so you can definitely check that out. I think I put the link in in the chat. So definitely check that out. And if you want to reach me, you can reach me at hello@atlantacoupletherapy.com. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram.
Yes, I think I just saw you. Couldn't sleep last night because I took a nap that I shouldn't have took at 6:00 in the evening. And so I saw you on Instagram
when it's time to
last
go to
night.
bed.
And I was thinking, I'm in a program right now, but I was thinking my next program needs to be your speaking program. So I did see your promos for Couch to Podium. So Couch to Podium. And so Laura has that program. So any therapists out there that may be listening to this and you need to learn how to speak, also know that Laura has that program. And then she has couple counseling. And I think you have a big couples Facebook group as well.
Yeah, Black Marriage Matters is over 65,000 couples in there. I'm still like, where all y'all came from?
Right?
But yeah, it's a vibe. I call that my village because we be needing a village sometimes, So yeah, that's Black Marriage Matters.
Yes. Okay. So you have all those resources available for the people. So you guys utilize the resources. And I'm here to tell you, because I think online these days, there's so many people and so many voices. You don't know who's real and who's not, who's really walking their talk, who's really doing it. And I can tell y'all, I've been watching Lauren for over 15 years. I don't even know how long. But I know it's got to be at least 15. It might be creeping up to 20. So, and so I've seen her grow. I've seen her develop. I know she's a real person. She's not, I don't know, she's not faking it. So I just want you guys to know, like, she is a real person. And so definitely please support her and buy her book. I'll definitely go buy the book. I can't guarantee you I'm going to get it read this year. But it's gonna go on the list of books I need to read. So definitely. So all right. Thank you, Laura, for your time. I so appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalie.